not everybody's mind works the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and seeing the kids actually putting their mind to something, it's really neat to watch it.
What's some of the things you've learned from experiencing that?
As far as experiencing it, it's seeing the kid just think out of the box.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the biggest deals is if they can think out of the box, there's no end to where they can stop.
Right. Well, I just wanted to welcome Mr. Kris Hiracheta and the ag mechanics teacher over at Lorenzo ISD. So can you share a little bit about your early life? Did you grow up farming and community? And
so I grew up about 15 miles south of here in New Home.
Okay.
Little bitty farming town where it used to be a little farming town. Now it's actually grown up to be a big town. And my grandparents had a little bitty piece of land. It wasn't much. It was like 165 acres. And just that's what we did. We were farmers.
Right.
I mean, that's my granddad worked at the cotton gin and part-time had his little farm.
Yes, sir. So you just farm cotton or anything else?
Sorghum. We had a lot of
Sorghum,
sorghum
okay.
growing. Last couple of years we did sorghum until I got out. Just had a little bit better opportunity to do some things. So.
I gotcha. What was your outing? What kind of prompted that?
Well, I was a pipeline welder, worked in the field for a long time.
Okay.
Midland, Odessa, down at Eagle Fort, down in San Antonio. And one day my wife asked, like, hey, there's a job opening real close to the house. You want to apply for it? I was like, I didn't think they'd hire somebody like me.
Right.
Just being a regular welder. And went in there and applied, and they called me back and said, hey, we want you to be a welding instructor and teacher.
Okay. So just a random out of the blue call.
Yes.
And were you interested in education before? Or?
But I always liked being in the ag side of education, and even going through college, I substituted for a little bit as,
okay.
When some of the teachers were gone, so I really liked that, and just kind of fell into it.
Yes, sir. So breaking into it, did you kind of have an idea of what you wanted to do, or was it just a trial by fire first days?
It was trial by fire.
Yes, sir. Okay, so is there any moments that you would consider some of your proudest, like maybe doing some of the build-offs or anything like that?
I think some of the proudest moments is just seeing the kids that really have never built anything, and then finally seeing that achievement of they actually built this.
Right.
They see the beginning stages of from raw metal to having a product at the very end.
Right. Right. So the I guess the light up of the student,
mm-hmm.
kind of understanding how things work a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So ag mechanics, can you give me a little rundown of kind of what that involves?
Man, ag mechanics, there's such a wide variety of what ag mechanics means.
Right.
You can go from welding, or you can go through hydraulics, you can go, electronics now.
Okay.
Because everything has changed so much. It's
right.
not just a manual motor no more. It's actually having to do with a lot of electronics. So it's changed a bunch.
Yeah. So what kind of areas would you say has been added into the past 5-6 years?
I say that just the electronics in dealing with like your computer-based stuff is really what it's changed it into. Even with GPS and trying to teach these kids some of that stuff, how it works with say a tractor. If you've got GPS, you've got to know how the GPS works with your steering.
Yeah.
And teaching them that. So
I've heard there's some like auto driving and things like that for some of the technical side. Is that accurate? I've
seen some, going to some of these shows that have little demonstrations, but not
right.
a whole lot of what I've seen.
Okay. So GPS wise, that's something that's been around for a little while. Is that new to ag, or has that been around?
No, it's been around, but you're starting to see, I guess GPS is becoming more affordable, so you're starting to see it more in smaller operations.
Okay.
As far as the ag industry.
So what kind of, what do you have to teach on the GPS side?
Man, just coordinates, how to set things up, how to make sure it's calibrated right, stuff like that. It's what you really find.
What happens if it's not calibrated?
Well, it's not a good deal.
Right. Driving to somebody else's yard, or
oh yeah.
Yep.
And I think the hardest part is teaching the kid when you get the GPS, don't grab the steering wheel.
Really? Okay.
Because they're so used to doing something an old way, and then you've got something that's totally doing it by itself, and
Right.
you don't think it's going straight, and you try to grab the steering wheel.
Exactly. And then, you mess it up. That's kind of like those Tesla
Yeah.
vehicles. Yeah, they're self-driving, and you just sit there and let it drive for you. And I don't know if I could.
I don't know if I
think
could
I would
trust it
trust
either.
Okay. So welding-wise, do you just as a common general sense, welding, or anything specific?
In my program, we actually start from the very, very basics. We
Okay.
start with an oxy-fuel welding system.
Okay.
It's basically your brazing, and then we work all the way up to TIGging aluminum, stainless steel, whatever we need to, ferrous metals, and just teach them all the processes of it.
Yeah. From a newbie's perspective, what kind of processes do those involve?
So as a newbie, we start our stuff on stick welding,
Okay.
because I figure if you can figure stick out, you can weld anything else.
Gotcha.
And it's usually the hardest one to do.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, put them in a wire. Well, wire, it's pull a trigger and you get wire coming out. At least with a stick, you've got to keep your distance away from the material.
Yes, sir. And that's where you're holding one on one hand and you're using the plasma. On
No,
the other.
a stick is just the one that you put into a stinger rod, electrode. You put
Oh,
into a
okay,
stinger, and
yeah.
It makes its own gas on
Gotcha.
the fly. So you can. There's a lot of applications for it, just especially out in the field.
Gotcha.
You're not having to worry about something blowing the gas off. It's actually going to weld.
Gotcha. What's the most common type of welding you see, at least in everyday life?
As far as industry, is the wire welding.
Okay.
Just because I think it's faster and you
see.
don't have as much waste.
Is it more difficult?
It's actually easier, I think,
Really?
in my opinion.
Okay.
So,
Interesting. Do you go around and look at everybody's welds? And,
oh yeah, I'm constantly on my feet, looking in the booth, seeing everything's going on. And I walk around with a welding helmet and
Yes, sir.
pop in and out all day long.
Yep. Do you notice anything in like a supermarket or something? You look at welds and like, man, that guy did not do a good job.
I know it's bad to say, but going to an amusement park.
Oh boy.
So everybody's there to have fun, and I'm looking at the welds.
Yep. Is this gonna hold? Or?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about this.
Yep. Do you see that amusement parks usually throw it together, or is it kind of?
Just depends on what it is. Some
I
people are
see.
really good, and some are like, I don't know, trust this very much.
I think the fair is probably one of those.
Yes.
That's questionable. Okay, so in a more agricultural specific mindset, do you do any FFA competitions or anything like that?
So we actually do build-offs.
Okay.
So the kids can actually get certified going to these build-offs. So basically, they give kids raw metal, give them a set of blueprints, and give them a timeline to work to finish a product.
Yes, sir.
So they've got to learn time management. They've got to learn how to read a blueprint and how to work with somebody
Yeah.
at that time crunch.
Yes, sir. And do you see that they usually adapt to it pretty well, or does it take some learning?
Once you get your team together and they start working together, they work really well together.
Yeah.
And then if you throw somebody that's never worked with that team, it really throws everything off.
Yeah.
So they got to learn to adapt to what they're doing. And not everything's perfect. When they go to these build-offs, they might have cut this out. Well, that part didn't get cut out right. So they've got to learn to adapt to, maybe we need to trim it a little bit, or we need to shift some things to make it work right.
Yes, sir. So what kind of competitions and build-offs do they do?
So they do anything from box blades to shop tables,
Okay.
chimeneas. I mean, there's a wide variety. It just depends on where it's at and how difficult it is. We're actually going to host one in April the 20th and 21st at Cook's Garage.
Okay.
So there's going to be a build-off out there. It's going to be a barbecue pit challenge, and ours is kind of a little bit different. That once they get the actual cylinder set up on jack stands, we're actually going to set it into a position. So they're going to have to do all positions, and they cannot move the project.
Yeah.
So I figure at this time in the year that the guys have been doing these build-offs, they should know, that they can't move everything.
Right.
So it's actually a real-world experience where they have to get up underneath it and weld.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, getting them integrated. And so what kind of certifications can they get from these build-offs?
So they offered the D91
Okay.
sheet metal. They do D11 and even the API 1104.
Okay.
So those are three of the main ones that industry's needing.
Gotcha. Can you break those down a little bit for me?
So D91 is just a T2F position. I mean, they put 7018 laid in there. They can't
Okay.
have undercut. So we're going off of the industry standard.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Very nice. Well, that sounds like a pretty cool system. Have you built a a barbecue pit yourself, or?
Oh, I've built many of them and got rid of them throughout the year. So
Yes, sir.
they don't stay around too long at my house.
I understand. I know a buddy of mine was working on a big barrel smoker. He took an old oil barrel and converted that. I feel like those do a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah.
But you never know. Okay, so hydraulics. What kind of hydraulic systems do you guys work on?
So we work on. We kind of ventured off into redoing skid steers.
Okay.
For some companies, and just learning the hydraulics as lifting and how the pumps work, and showing the kids how the fluids work, stuff like that.
Okay, so as a student, what would you tell me? Just a crash course.
Crash course is, fluid goes in, fluid is gonna find the least resistant area to go out.
Okay.
So that's kind of the whole thinking of this.
Yes, sir. And do they experiment with that on themselves, or is it like built from ground zero? They build the whole system, or?
So no, we actually troubleshoot a bunch of the stuff. So if we got a pump that was coming in and it wasn't pushing out, we go actually break down into the pumps and cylinders, or maybe it's a seal that is bypassing or whatever.
Right.
So we kind of break it all the way down to the bare beginning of it.
Okay, so what are some of the common problems you see with some of the hydraulic systems?
Common problem is seals going out. Somebody trying to lift something way too heavy and is blowing seals, or you get your check valves are messed up. A couple years ago, we had a skid steer come in that the hydraulic and depths were too close together. Well, somebody put depth into the hydraulic and started stopping up all the sensors.
Oh boy.
So as far as the book telling us one way to go step by step, we had to actually backtrack because it didn't say what if this problem occurred, what happens.
Okay.
So we actually had to go back, and we've had some very experienced mechanics come in and say, hey, you got to go back to the old times and start troubleshooting, not new stuff.
Yes, sir.
So you got to learn both sides of this.
Yes, sir. Well, I've been one to believe that experience kind of is a better teacher than the book sometimes. You need both, but yeah, unless you live through it.
Yeah, and it's just like in the welding field, welding hadn't changed a whole lot in the last 40 years. So we're teaching the basics and moving from there.
Okay. So is it just water that you do with hydraulics, or do you use different types of liquids?
So we basically just stay with the hydraulic fluids. I mean,
hydraulic. Okay, gotcha. And what is the difference? What do they do?
So you've got your air hydraulic cylinders, and then you've got your fluid hydraulic cylinders.
Okay.
And just depends on what application you use. Your air is going to be more for your food grade stuff, so you're not messing with petroleum products, and then you're going to have more of your industry, and that's going to be in your hydraulic stuff. Gotcha.
Well, I was wondering because thought in my head, how do you keep that lubricated enough to where it can slide back and forth?
Oh, they've got so many different kinds of greases, food grade grease to industrial.
Okay, so for different applications, you do different things and things like that. So working with different metals, do you find that some are easier to work with than others?
Oh yeah, I mean, you get some that are very good quality, and then you get some that are very low quality, and you have a lot more problems with the lower quality steel.
Right.
Just because of your pinholes and non-penetration, there's too many factors into basically going to a junkyard and getting a whole bunch of stuff, putting it into one, you don't really know what it is, versus having a higher quality tested steel that's more pure.
Is there a specific steel that you would consider a good middle ground?
Well, it's all about, and it might just be me, I'm very true to buying U.S. products.
Okay.
So I try to buy U.S. steel as much as I can.
Right. Okay. So anything that comes out of the great states.
Oh yeah.
Well, sounds good. Okay. And is steel different from, say, I mean, I know it is, but how is it different from like aluminum and copper or things like that?
Your strengths.
Okay.
I mean, you get into a lot of how much you can hold, how poundage and stuff like that. I mean, if you need something that's light and that can hold good amount of weight, you're gonna probably go to your aluminum if you're moving all the time. But if it's gonna be stationary, I'd go with more of a mild steel, heavier. Just to be planted somewhere.
So that kind of sparks an interest, because if you're using aluminum, wouldn't it not be able to carry more weight?
It does. It comes back down to your basics in high school. figuring angles and making it braced up right can hold, if you brace it right, it's going to hold more weight than what you think.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're using more structure than actual material, and that would probably make it lighter, I would assume. Yeah, with the aluminum. Is there anything that besides aluminum that would be better?
Depending on what application. I mean, it's just like in the agricultural world, when you're spraying, the booms are made out of aluminum because they're lighter and they can actually hold, and they're not corrosive either.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So if you use a steel and you take a piece of steel and you put it in water, eventually it's going to rust up.
Yeah.
Aluminum, you can set it in water, it's not going to rust.
Interesting. Okay, so why use steel then if you know it's going to rust?
Steel is just, I think it's cheaper.
I gotcha.
So, I mean, as far as a price-wise, and you have a lot of these guys that are using steel to make something that's going to stay there. Aluminum is totally different.
Yes, sir. So what kind of unique opportunities does your program offer, like hands-on projects or partnerships like the Texas Regional Pathways Network or things like that?
So, Texas is very, very, I would say, wanting to have a career path, and they're going more to the welding CTE side of stuff. So, I mean, you might have heard it in lots of different platforms is AI is a good tool, but AI is not coming for our jobs.
Really?
Because what we do is so you have to be watching it. It's not. They're going for more of the computer side of things.
Okay.
Versus manufacturing it's going to be hard for it to take over somebody welding something in the field and see what's wrong with it.
Well, that's interesting because I know AI is being integrated into the machines that do build stuff. So I don't know if that could potentially.
It will take some away, but I don't think enough to make that big of a difference.
Okay, interesting. So it's going more for the software side and integrating. Do you see that benefiting any, or is it kind of the same?
I think it depends on what field you're in. It really does.
Okay.
I mean, as far as being a field worker, I don't ever see it. I mean, I can see it telling you, okay, something's wrong, but not as far as fixing it.
Interesting. Do you see some practical applications where it could be beneficial?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really on that.
What about, what about the drones? I know a lot of people are switching to or not a lot of people, but some people are switching to the drone spraying and things like that. Have you seen more of that?
I have, and I think it's a good idea. But just because when I actually farmed for a few years, and the drones, I think it's more that it pushes the chemical underneath the plant. Instead of just laying the chemical on top.
Right, because the wind and...
So I think that's very beneficial just because the chemicals are so expensive nowadays. Even when I was farming, they were expensive.
Right.
And I think that's just a good application, and you can control a lot of it too.
Okay. Now, I've heard that from multiple people that it gives you more control. In what ways does it do that?
I think it just because it works off of, like we said, putting the application down.
Yes, sir.
It's more controlled that way.
Okay.
So you don't have a lot of drift. It's actually forcing the chemical to the ground instead of just laying it.
Okay. So in an area that's super windy like here, would that be as practical or?
I think it would, especially just getting the right days is the biggest deal. I mean, everybody knows if it's too windy, you don't spray.
Well, sure.
So I think, even with the drones, you've got to be a certain wind speed for the drone to fly.
Right.
And I think that keeps a lot of the stuff where it needs to be.
Okay.
So if it's too windy to fly a drone, then you're probably not going to spray.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, if you did, then you needed to or something. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, on the drone side, though, I mean, battery life to me is the biggest concern because I know just in the one that I fly, it takes 10 minutes and it's dead. Yeah. So I don't...
and I've seen a application, and they have different where they come in, they fill up, they swap a battery, and then they go back off. So I see that, but I don't know how. I see it's good, but then I see bads to it too.
Okay, what's some of the bads?
Like you said, the battery, waiting time, and I mean, how many acres can you cover per?
That's true.
Per flight,
Yeah, probably beneficial for a smaller application that could probably manage it. Of course, I've seen some that do these big trucks, and they've got a whole rig set up on these trucks.
And it comes back to the ag mechanics side of things. So when we go down to the stock shows, they have an ag mechanics actual contest.
Okay.
And you see trailers that are set up for drones where they come in, they land, and they're doing all this in the field.
Man.
So it's really neat to watch it. And, you know, they've got their demonstrations and stuff like that.
Is it something that you would consider eventually implementing in your teaching? Or?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
okay.
definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, we've got to keep up with everything, what's coming in.
Yeah.
You know, if something comes out, they're going to need a secondary deal to either make it land right or have something there to help that process along.
Sure.
And that's where we come in and say, hey, we can kind of look at this and trial and error.
Yeah. So have you yourself set up any drone systems, or?
We have a little drone that I fly at the weld office, and that's about as far as my drone experience goes. I'm not a very good pilot right now.
Okay. Well, they're a little difficult to fly, that's for sure, especially in this wind. Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't take much. Okay. So in your opinion, how does your own personal experience, you did say you farmed, so how does that help with your ag mechanic teaching?
So going back to my earlier years, I worked in a blacksmith shop.
Okay.
In the little town. So I learned a lot of how to repair equipment, how to do things. And, you know, everybody comes in with something broke.
Right.
So you've got to learn how to fix it. And that's where I teach my kids is not everything is perfectly square, nothing's perfectly straight. When they bring it in, you're going to learn to fix it. So we do a lot of different applications to fix it and work on things.
Okay. So would you say like 90% of your teaching is more troubleshoot?
Yes, very.
Yes, sir. Okay. And so in the troubleshooting process, what's kind of your thought process on how to troubleshoot?
How to troubleshoot is basically go through and evaluate, you know, start at one end and work your way to the very end, and let's see, okay, this is right, this is right, this is right. Well, this is wrong.
Right.
Well, maybe we need to start right here, and then we start troubleshooting that area.
Okay.
So maybe, you know, we've got too much flex here. Well, there needs to be a brace or something.
Yeah.
So we kind of watch the application and see where it's actually doing, and then try to fix that problem area.
Do you see that a lot of them are just simple fixes, or is like most of them going to be these big projects?
Some of them can be a simple fix, and some of them can be a very 2 or 3 days you're sitting there looking at it. I mean, there's many nights, even when I was off on my own welding and trying to figure something out and losing hours of sleep because I'm sitting there, so my wheels turn. So how can I make this better, or how can I fix this?
Yeah. So is your goal when you're troubleshooting and repairing, is it more repair, or is it you want to make it better so that in the future you don't run into this problem again?
I want to try to make it better.
Okay.
Just because if you can make it better, then people look at it and say, hey, that's a really good idea, and maybe that's what we need to start doing on all these instead of just fixing this one particular piece.
Right. Has there been anything that you've made better that has been made industry standard?
I've built so many things that I couldn't tell you.
I understand.
I guess if the customer doesn't come back, then you made it good enough that you didn't have to worry about it.
There you go. Yes, sir. Okay. So is your process more of a work at the front and work your way back, or is it work on the bottom and work your way up kind of thing?
Man, it's kind of all over the place.
Okay, interesting. So is it tractors and sprayers and things like that you work with, or is it a whole assortment of things?
Assortment. I've had sprayers come in that one of the farmers, they would hit a telephone pole and have to fix a wing to a plow, or, you know, somebody nicked something in the field, or, you know, bent a shank or whatever. Right. And then you just kind of go from there on a lot of that stuff. Just I've seen all kinds of problems.
Yeah. What's the craziest one you've seen?
I think probably the craziest one is you know, I've had a seed wagon that flipped over and was loaded full of seed, and trying to lift it back up and not having all your equipment that you needed. So you're really having to, I've got this tractor, or I've got this pickup. Well, this pickup's got a hydraulic lift on it, so let's tie a chain here and use a chain here, and let's lift it up, and then maybe we can put a new running gear underneath it.
Yeah. Oh, crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, I was driving home one day on the interstate. I saw a cotton trailer tipped right over, all the cotton just all over the street. It's like, man, that must be a bad day.
Oh yeah, and I've done it. I've worked on, you know, car haulers and stuff like that where the whole trailer will actually break in half, and we've fixed them right on the side of the highway.
Do you try to save the produce?
Oh, I mean, you know, we try to everything we can.
Right,
You know, when somebody calls, if it's an emergency, we get up and go, and you know, we were there.
Yeah, do what you can and things like that. Are you out in the field often, or?
I still do a little bit of work. You know, I'm not this as my only source of income, so now I can actually relax a little bit. But I do still do a lot of welding, and that helps me with bringing kids. You know, I hire a couple of kids through the year. They come out and help me with stuff like this, so they're actually getting that extra time of learning how to weld and being out in the elements and stuff like that.
So do you see that some kids are more interested in that, or you just kind of pick the top
No,
two?
it's definitely, you have the kids that are going to be your go-getters, and then you're going to have some that are there for a class. I mean, I want every one of them to be a go-getter,
Yeah.
but it sometimes don't work out that way.
How do you adapt your teaching to the
Finding
differences?
things that the kid's interested in.
Okay.
Because not everybody is going to be a structural welder. They might go lean more to the art, or there's different parts of welding.
Okay.
So you kind of find that interest, what they want. So maybe they're interested in floral. Well, let's make a metal flyer. And that gets them interested in the welding too. So you
Okay.
kind of take different avenues to get them there.
So you do you teach some sculpture stuff then?
We do teach sculpture, I would say.
Okay.
Sometimes it looks like Jarvis metal that needs to go back, but no, we do some. I've had some that are really neat just to watch how they work, and
Yeah.
not everybody's mind works the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and seeing the kids actually putting their mind to something, it's really neat to watch it.
What's some of the things you've learned from experiencing that?
As far as experiencing it's seeing the kid just think out of the box.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the biggest deals is if they can think out of the box, there's no end to where they can stop.
Right. Do you try to promote thinking out of the box, or is it just a
definitely.
natural?
No, that's how thinking out of the box is how a lot of things are actually invented.
Okay.
Is thinking out of the box. I mean, you can have it one way, but if they start thinking out of the box to make it better, it's a greater opportunity for them to succeed in it.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the kids that are creating some of these different inventions that actually take it really far?
Oh yeah, I mean, even in the shows, down in San Angelo, just seeing different things that they come up with.
Okay.
You know, helping. I'm trying to think. In the ag industry, I've seen where there was a stock show family that they built a portable heater, so their animals weren't just screaming around when they were washing them. So they just seeing things like that. It's like, that maybe that's something better for it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I know that most invention comes from problems, so I'm sure a lot of these are issues that have been dealt with, or things that we've run into in the past. And very interesting. Okay. So, so in your perspective as an ag educator, as far as agriculture and the state of agriculture, is it kind of in a good state right now to help teach these kids, or is it needing to be better to help?
I would say that it's right now good. The only thing that we're seeing, and this has been a problem for years, is the equipment in the ag industry is so massive, and so many horsepower that some of the stuff is not holding up to what it was built for.
Gotcha.
I mean, some of these plows were built for 100 horse tractor, and now we're pushing into 400 or 500 horses.
Okay.
And some of the plows can't hold up. So that's when we come in. It's like, what can we do to reinforce this and make it stand up to what these tractors and equipment are doing right now?
So are you thinking in terms of, let's make the smaller tractors, say a midsize or a compact, be able to handle higher horsepower? That way you don't have to invest in something massive to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And what kind of equipment is coming out that's just overpowering?
Man, it's just I would say the big tractors. I mean,
okay.
I guess the companies that were here, they were building equipment. Now they're actually having to put heavier weight steel in and trying to make it where it can stand up to the time of these big monsters.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, interesting. What about the more ranching side of things? Do you deal with anything in there?
So we do deal with the livestock as far as handling equipment.
Okay.
So we, some of these animals are getting so big and monstrous. I mean, just in the show industry or any kind of industry as far as production, we're keep pushing these animals, and we're having to make bigger stuff, make it where it holds them better and stuff like that.
Okay. So you said you were a blacksmith. What kind of stuff did you do there?
I actually did lots of repairs.
Oh, okay.
So farm equipment repairs.
I got you.
So anything from pulling water wells to fixing windmills, planters. If somebody broke a toolbar, sand fighter, or whatever we need to do, we'd go out and fix.
Okay. Because I know when you think blacksmith, people think immediately building swords.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. So did you work out of a shop, or was that?
So
that
we
all
actually
field work?
worked out of a shop. I mean, I was probably one of the youngest the welders there.
Oh, okay.
So I had a lot of older guys showing me the ropes, and I think that's where a lot of my experience comes, is watching them how they did things.
Yeah. Did you notice some things and think, I could probably do that better?
Oh, yeah.
That needs to be changed.
Yeah, and we got into many, I guess, arguments of like, he wanted it this way and I wanted it this way, and I thought, I can make it better. And you kind of got to compromise on some of that stuff.
Do you think it's can't teach an old dog new tricks, or is it more?
Oh yeah, I'm learning all the time.
Yeah.
I see something, and if you can pay attention to it and it's better, then try it.
Yeah. Experimentation.
It's not always the old ways, right?
Right. Have any of your kids brought anything up and you thought, man, I didn't even think of that?
All the time. We've got, hey, why don't we do it this way? I was like, well, let's try it and see.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes into your compromise and say, man, that was 10 times easier than the way I used to do it.
Yeah, it just kind of made it faster.
Like, why didn't I think
efficient.
of that?
Exactly. Well, some of these kids, man, they've got some good ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, really good ideas.
You got to see some of the stuff that comes in on paper, and man, this really could work, and this is pretty neat.
So what's your start to finish process of putting a project together?
So we basically start from an idea, and I make them fill out a piece of paper, and we start from how we're going to fund it, how we're going to build it, blueprint it, draw it on a piece of paper, napkin, or whatever, because I've seen some of the best blueprints come off a napkin before.
Yes, sir.
And then we start from there, and we just kind of work along and say, okay, we need to change this a little bit. I don't think it'll work here. Or we'll try it on a scrap piece, and then if it didn't work, we reconfigure it.
Okay. And what's kind of some of the stuff that you've seen come in that you're like, man, I never even thought of that?
Well, we do, in my program, we've built a lot of trailers.
Okay.
And as far as, once they start getting so long, they have so much sway in them. Gotcha. It's like anything else. And them kids learning how to brace the bottom of them to keep the sag out of them, to hold more weight.
Has the creation of a trailer changed any in the past 10 years or so?
Oh, man, I've seen them from anything from hydraulics that lift the whole trailer up to sliding axles. I mean, it's pretty neat to see it all.
Okay, so even something as simple as a trailer can have new ideas.
And
things like that. Okay, yeah. So on the artistic side, because we touched on that a little bit, do you kind of just open the door and let them kind of imagine whatever they want, or?
Yes, I do. Just because there's so many, I guess, building like these newer houses, everybody wants that unique deal.
Yeah.
And that really helps the kids where it's, hey, I can build a gate and let me make floral or whatever and pattern it out.
Yeah, ironwork and things like that.
And that goes more into your blacksmith stuff, is how to scroll stuff and how to bend it and stuff like that.
Okay. So when you see a kid leaning one way or the other, do you kind of push them in the direction you think they're going?
Yeah, and we have categories that we set up in our classrooms. Like, hey, if you want to go more of the industry side, or we need to go more of the design things.
Okay. Is there a field that you personally prefer?
I kind of go all over the place.
I gotcha.
I've done it for so long that you kind of had to be a versatile person, so you kind of pick up the interest in both sides of it.
Have you done any sculptures yourself?
No, I have not.
Oh boy!
If it was a sculpture, it probably didn't last very long.
Is that on the horizon? Are you thinking about it? Or?
I don't know. I've had some friends back in when I first started. They were older guys that did sculptures.
Okay.
And I had a very good friend his name was Charles Smith.
Okay.
And he actually, before he passed away, he owned the West Texas palm trees.
Okay.
So you've probably seen some of them that were at like Muhammad Bucks, the sculptures. So we did all those. And he was very, I would say, very artistic in things we did. And I learned a lot of things from him. Yeah.
Is there things that from the sculpture side that you can apply to the technical side?
I mean, even in the sculpture side, we had jigs. And the jigs moved from any kind of the welding is to make things production faster for us.
Right.
So we learned how to build the jigs in the sculpture side to make everything the same, and then we still use it in the industry side too.
Okay. So on the machinery side, have you ever thought about building the machine that then you use to build whatever else?
Oh yeah, we've built presses to make our channels or whatever we need. We've built more tools, I think, to accommodate us than what they make.
Okay. Interesting. So I know, at least when I was in a shop class, my teacher had us memorize a whole list of the safety rules on the machinery, and we wouldn't touch anything until we could do a quiz on that?
Oh,
Do you do that or?
Oh yeah, I kind of, it might seem childish, but you know the song, the head, knees, and toes.
Yep.
I basically tell them, okay, you start at your head and you go all the way down to your toes, and you say, hey, I need earplugs.
Yeah.
I need glasses. I need long sleeves. And
Yeah.
just work your way all the way down to your toes, and at the end, you're, oh, got my safety boots on. We're ready to go.
Yep. Have you seen any injuries, or do you do good at preventing those?
That's probably one of my scariest deals is
Yeah.
I'm always watching the kids.
Good,
I mean,
okay.
it's not fun if somebody gets hurt.
Right.
And that's where I really, safety is number one thing before anything else.
Okay. So what's your ratio of let them be free range, but also let's keep a cap on it?
So when they first come in, we start our students off at an 8th grade level.
Okay.
So we're actually teaching welders young.
Right.
And, you know, once they get that first couple of years where they get comfortable going into the shop, then we kind of give them a little bit more lead to go do some stuff. But we're always watching them.
Gotcha.
They don't just get free range of anything. We
Right.
actually give them a little lead, pull them back, or whatever we need to do. See, just kind of watch what they're doing.
Yeah. See where their interests lie and what they can come up with. And
Oh, yeah.
so in some of these shows, do they get free range to just kind of build something that they come up with, or?
So there was a couple shows that were just, hey, let's see what you can do. There's a pile of metal, get after it. And that was
Okay.
pretty neat to watch them just come up with something, not having a real plan going into it,
Yeah.
and then coming out with an end product. And it was very neat to see. Some of them were practical, some of them weren't,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Well, very cool. So outside of Lorenzo and the district itself, is there what kind of partnerships do you guys build to help further this along?
So we started the last couple of years, we're trying to be a 13-14 campus.
Okay.
So we're actually pushing for the kids to go to a, you know, either a trade or some nursing or whatever. And then instead of them going into college, we actually can keep them back to 13-14 and keep them there so they're not having to worry about how am I going to get there.
Right.
You know, or if you've got a young kid to say, I need to stay home with mom and dad and help them, but I really want to go to school.
Yeah.
So that gives them that, you know, avenue to say, hey, I can stay back 13-14 and then I'm still getting my college.
Okay.
And still helping mom and dad.
So they get their credits and everything like that, and they
Yep.
can keep going. And okay, so what kind of programs are y'all providing?
So
with
we're
that?
actually doing the welding, and then we've started the nursing program. So
Okay.
I think it's don't get me quoted on, but I'm not RNs. One piece something.
CNA.
Might have been something like that.
Gotcha.
I don't know exactly the right
Gotcha.
reference for it, but
Okay.
so we've offering that too.
Very
So-
cool. Okay, and that's cool because in a small town like Lorenzo, it's nice to have the freedom and the ability to do that, because some of these kids that are in small towns, they don't have the same opportunities as big towns.
Oh
you know?
yeah. And you know the programs they're small, so there's a lot of one-on-one.
Gotcha. Okay. So are you the one doing the one-on-ones on the
Oh
welding
yeah,
side?
every
Okay.
kid in our program will get one-on-one. I mean, like I say, I put many a times in and out of the booths. If they have a question, I stop, and that's where we go from there.
Okay.
So it's always, you know, there's not that a kid gets pushed off in the corner and it's okay. What's going on now? You know?
Yeah, and work with them and see where they can go, and that's pretty cool. I think that's awesome that we can do that. Is it just that, or is there some other programs?
So that's just the only two that we're offering right now. I'm
Okay.
hoping eventually we'll get more.
Yeah.
So I mean, everything right now is going very good for, you know, as far as moving to make everything better.
Yeah.
In Lorenzo right now.
Okay, very cool. So you're providing opportunities for these kids to kind of get a head start, and I think that's a very cool thing. That way, like I said, a lot of them don't get the same opportunities, and opening the door for that is very, very cool. Okay, so on more agriculture side, what, in your opinion, what do you envision as the ideal future for ag in the next, say, 20 years?
It's kind of controversial on me that everything's very high, and I see a lot. There's not as many young farmers going into this industry. You've got a lot of the older farmers that are still
Gotcha.
farming,
Yeah,
and that's kind of what scares me. So
Okay.
I don't really know where that's going to go.
yeah,
You know, I do have a lot of friends that are farming, but there's not enough from the old timers that are leaving to be replaced.
right. And I know a lot of farming is family, passed down from families, and what's interesting to me though is talking with you and a few other people. A lot of them that started in farming moved into other industries, but they're still in the ag world, and I think that's cool that you keep it in the blood, I guess.
Yeah.
But find what you enjoy, you know, because agriculture offers so many things. you
Oh
know?
yeah, it really does. I mean, I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have the agriculture
Right.
background.
Yes, absolutely. It helps out. So speaking of your family, do they still farm or?
So we still own a little bit of land. I mean, we lease it out. It is, my dad and granddad are both gone from now, and it was just hard for me to try to farm and teach at the same time.
I understand.
I mean, especially over 100 miles away from where I was living, that really took a toll. So, I mean, we still own the land. Me and my brother both have done some part in the agriculture.
Okay.
So,
Very cool. So what kind of legacy are you hoping to leave with Lorenzo kids?
man, I really would just, when they go out to, when I'm done gone, is I just hope they think, hey, this man actually taught me something and I actually used it. You know, that I wasn't just a waste.
Right. Well, I know teachers can really have a good impact on kids, and is that your goal, is to be an impact?
Oh yeah, and I've already seen it. Even the short time I've been there,
Yeah.
I've had students that were more the troubled children, and they found that niche in the welding, and having somebody that cares for them,
Yeah.
and giving them that chance. Hey, he's actually cares and wants me to do good.
Yeah.
And taking them, some people wouldn't take them anywhere, and me, I'm betting on the dark horse. So I'm going to really try. And then they've been some of my best students, and now they're working in manufacturing and running government jobs. I've got some students that are, like I told them, is start from the bottom and work your way to the top.
Yeah.
So then every process of what your job is.
Yeah.
I mean, from gopher to the head guy, and they're doing that.
Man, that's
So
awesome.
that really gives me being very proud, I guess, proud parent or proud mentor.
Yes, sir. No, I understand. Definitely. Okay. And do you feel like having that impact in these kids' lives, that it's improving the community as a whole, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, just to see that, they're not just another person sitting at home.
Right.
I mean, these kids are going out there and getting good jobs and working their tail off for it.
Yeah. And that's awesome.
And it's bringing it back to the community, and that's, otherwise who knows where they would have been.
Right. Do you see a lot of them moving out of Lorenzo? And
So I always tell them, and that might be bad for me, but I tell them, go out and experience life.
okay,
Just because you can always come back home.
that's true.
So while you're young, go experience what the world has for you to do.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And experimentation is the number one way to learn, in my opinion. And you get a lot of, you will make mistakes, but
Yes.
man, it happens. But the things you learn from it, I think that's definitely awesome. Okay, so on a personal level, how has teaching ag mechanics changed your own perspective on community and things like that?
So I've always loved the small community. You
Okay.
get a lot of support from the smaller community.
Yeah.
And I think that's, once these kids are starting to come build projects and show the community what they really can do, and that's when the community comes together and say, hey, we need to invest in these kids because they're doing something that's so awesome that we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we grow as far as from the classroom to the community.
Cool deal. Well, just to wrap it up, I'd want to open the floor to you if there's anything you want to add into it, or any last words you want to say.
Just go out there and try it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be something that needs to be worked on. And try to make it better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I tell my kids. I said, watch people what they do, and you can always do what they do.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and not try it, and then always have that thought in the back of your head. It's, I didn't try it, so I don't know.
That's true.
I said, you don't know until you try it.
That's very true. Yes, sir. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate you coming in and talking to me. It was a good conversation. Yes, sir.